What up, y'all? We live in this thing. This is random late nights F.I.R.M. We've been on here for a couple minutes, you know what I'm saying? This is for the late night crew. This is for the people who don't stay up at the same times as me and you. Okay? This is for the people who are just up late and they're up with me. You know what I'm saying? So without further ado, what's going on, everybody? You know what I mean? We appreciate you being here. I appreciate you being here. Tonight is like you said, it's like I said, it's random late nights. F.I.R.M. on the F.I.R.M. podcast. If anybody wants to get on with me as far as my normal co-host, Ulysses, he'll be on here. Or he might do a random daytime, I don't know, we'll do late nights, daytime. I don't know what you want to call it, but it'll still be F.I.R.M. So I appreciate y'all being here with me tonight. You know what I'm saying? I'm over here celebrating, just living. I happen to be one of them people who stay up late. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I know y'all couldn't believe it. Y'all don't understand. How could somebody who is a Christian be up so late? Well, some people can't sleep at night. Or they just be up. You know what I mean? I probably should do this on maybe like a Friday. You know what I'm saying? Wink to my co-host. You know what I mean? Maybe on a different night. But either way, we're on here Saturday nights live. If you don't know, on the F.I.R.M. podcast, we do this at the F.I.R.M. 365 24/7 is where you will find us everywhere. We're trying to make sure that nobody else uses what we use when we tell people where to find us. So if you on here live with me tonight, I want you to tell me. Don't let me just be on here by myself, or you could just enjoy the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you're just up late and your mind is wandering and you're like, I don't know what I can do right now. And maybe I don't know what you do this late. You don't know what I do this late. But when we fellowship, if I'm your friend, you're my friend, we should be able to communicate with each other. You know what I'm saying? I got some friends in different time zones. Sometimes they want to call me late after work. I don't get those opportunities, but the things that they say, the things that I say, the things that we share on the F.I.R.M. podcast are always worthwhile. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to say shout out to everybody that's out there tonight. What's going on? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Who's that? Listen. He says, I have eyes to see and ears to hear. That's right. And that's why I tried to get one of my good friends on the line tonight. I was hoping that he'd call me. Maybe I just call him. He's talking about he up all the time. He'd be like, I'll just be up, man. Call me anytime. I'm calling you, brother. You want to get on here and talk to your boy? Or you sleep? See, that's what type of time I be on. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm up. Sometimes the mind is running. Sometimes the things that you go through the day, you know, just need to unwind. Just need to relax. Nobody answering. Brother. Called your bluff live. And I'm going to leave this up after I get off here. I don't know how long I'm going to be over here tonight, but if anybody else is on there, I appreciate y'all, whether y'all on Facebook or on YouTube. Y'all can comment live. This is Diet Coke. You're going to be seeing me sip this little bitty. So don't be thinking that I'm over here sipping, doing crazy. But I'm here to have a good night. I got some things that I want to talk about. The mind is not done processing. That's right. Melissa, where did you come from? Why are you speaking such wisdom on this occasion? You know what I'm saying? Tonight is random. That's going to be the new segment. You know what I mean? It's going to be called Random. I'm up late. You know, I got a little case of insomnia sometimes. That's all right. Sometimes the Lord gets that time. Sometimes I get that time. But either way, it's all time under the same sun. I don't mean the sky shining. I mean the SON in my life. But we be up late too. And what do we got left to do? You know what I'm saying? When everybody's gone to sleep and all, you know what I'm saying? The church folks who go to bed, you know what I'm saying? Those who fellowship are asleep. What do? We're up and we're pretending like we're not. What's up, bro? What is up, man?
I heard through the grapevine
Uh-huh.
that somebody was gonna be on tonight.
Oh man, you know, I had to do it, man. You know what I'm saying? And I just want you to know the foresight on my mind. Cause this is random nights, late nights, firm. But I just want you to know that wouldn't be there if I didn't think that you was up. I know you up too, man. I know everybody's up. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, we ain't got nothing going on. We ain't talking. And our brains is wondering. We have late at night battling. Because here's one thing that I say, man. You listen, how you doing? What's
Good,
up,
man.
my
Good.
brother, man? You good?
Talk to me,
You
man.
chilling?
Talk
What
to
you
me.
on, man? What you on?
Oh man,
That's
just
what everybody Skim and Diet Coke for the people who watch. So,
eating church Diet Coke. It's late night. It's late night.
yeah. That's all they serving here at the diner. What's going on, man? Glad you could join in here. You know what I'm saying? This is Random Nights. Random late nights, man. I told him that, you know, I'm usually up at a different time sometimes than other folks. But there's people like me out there too. And there's people in different time zones. They don't get a shot at the firm. You know what I'm saying? They don't get a piece of this fellowship. And I got a lot to talk about tonight. You know what I'm saying? A lot on my mind.
Then tell us what is on your mind.
Man, I appreciate you being here, man. You know what I'm saying? We got comments. Melissa been over here chiming in. You know what I'm saying? She's grateful. You
What's
know what
going
I mean?
on, Melissa? Hope all is well with you.
I get the grateful from this comment. She said, "Thank you for joining." You know what I'm saying? We in here. This is my normal co-host
Welcome,
on the F.I.R.M
Garfield.
podcast.
Welcome.
Anytime you ever see me or him, it's on the podcast. But we live with it right now. So if you comment live when we get off here, it's gonna be on here. But you listen, thank you for being here, man. I've been sitting over here eating some slightly over toasted pizza. You know what I mean? Cooked it by myself. Made it yours truly. I'm relaxing, man. And I was just thinking, bro, I just had my birthday.
You had your birthday.
You know what I mean? Shout out to the birthday folks in June. I don't know if you are part of the festivities or if you have been able to celebrate, but celebrate for somebody else. Sometimes you got to be happy for somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all the June birthday babies. You know what I mean? I got a homeboy named Daniel. He beat me in. He's on June 1st. I'm June 2nd. But I just had a birthday, man, and you know what I realized, man? I had a slight epiphany. Let's get serious for a minute. Man, I was sitting back, and it was late at night. And I was snacking like I normally do, up late. And I was like, I could do a whole lot of things tonight. Because sometimes, you know, I go to bed when I go to bed. I work when I'm supposed to, take care of it. But sometimes I got these restless nights. And I got to thinking, man, I just hit 40. And you know what I realized?
What was that?
I realized that everybody that I've ever known, everybody is going to die one day. I was born in 82. So that means from a baby. The first time that I was ever had the ability, the wherewithal, or the perception to perceive another person, family, doctor, otherwise, it don't matter. Everybody that I've seen, this is what I know at 40, everybody I've ever seen in real life has either died or will die. Okay. Whether I live to see it or not, because I saw them I know that these are the people that will pass on.
Okay.
And I know that we talk a lot about the people who have came here before us and the people who have died back in the day before the history was all convoluted and all that other stuff. But either way, whether they died or not is almost irrelevant to me at 40. You know what I'm saying? People tell the tales, the conspiracies of how they came and gone. That's irrelevant.
Mhm.
Everybody that I know right now, you or I, or anybody else, is going to die.
Okay.
And with that thought, I was like, I feel like if I live the rest of my life and I hold back one thing, I really didn't live the rest of my life. I lived a life. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, but the key word is rest. And in this fellowship, man, we're supposed to enter into his rest. So for me, if I have a restless night or not, I want to live the rest of my life. I just live my life. So with that being said, welcome, y'all. We got to get a new intro, but you know, this will be the intro for tonight.
Be released from that anger, resentment, and bitterness. You know, that's evident.
Our context on it, and it kind of changed the definition.
Convinced himself that he's sufficient for himself.
I love discipleship. Why I love mentoring.
The us and the us and them is ever growing.
Facebook posts, Instagram posts, just another way of connecting with people.
Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another great conversation on F.I.R.M podcast.
What up, world? This is the F.I.R.M.
Y'all can comment live as you have been. As you see, we'll put it up on the screen while we're live. It's not about exposing me and exposing you. It's about not hiding what we do and what we think. I know y'all think I'm gonna go super deep. Y'all probably like, how could you start something off like that? It was going so well, then you got to start talking about death.
Somebody gonna die. Yeah.
Somebody gonna die. Either, regardless, at what age is it inappropriate to consider this? And who do I want to talk to tonight on the F.I.R.M podcast? You know what I'm saying? This random episode. Who do I want to talk to that can't appreciate that? I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to people who are considering the time that they've been given, the time that they have, like me. That's for what tonight's about.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's why we on this late night too.
Yeah. No, that's.
Have you thought about your mortality, bro?
Man, you know, time is definitely not on our side for sure. You know, what's that one song? Time
is on my side.
But no,
yes,
time is not on our side. You know, sing it.
Is on
sing
my
it.
Side. It's not.
No, it's really not. You know, so it's like
I was hoping it was.
And you hear it a lot, you see it a lot. You know, love those today because they may not be here tomorrow. You see a whole lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, you know, do we take advantage of that time? Can we take advantage of that time? You know, can we forgive so we don't live in bitterness? Can we love so we don't have no regret? Can we make amends in relationships that need to be amended to? Because what you hear is a lot of regret. Time brings regret if it's not used wisely.
I definitely agree with that. What I would say to that would be sometimes you got to consider the standards that you're living by. Like, whose shoes are you really walking in? I mean, from birth, you're taught about a role model.
Mhm.
At some point, even as a child of God, Christian or whatever, a believer, you have to, a person of faith or just a regular human being out here living up late at night like we are, just want to be strong, just want to be firm, just want to hold on, don't want to look at the wrong stuff late at night, don't want to living with that much regret. Sometimes I found what I believe. These are my epiphanies tonight. All right, I'm having them in the moment. I'm gonna catch them as they come. You catch yours too. I found that a lot of the things that I believe that I regretted. Notice I said that past tense. The things that I regretted, they were based off of me not being able to measure up to somebody else's model, me not being able to fit in somebody else's shoes, me not being able to measure up to what I think a man is, a responsible guy or husband or co-worker, friend. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
So it's like, even though we're grown and we know those areas of life, sometimes the way we're judging ourselves, we're trying to attribute them to God's judgment. But the truth is, man, a lot of those are the judgments of men. Like, if your failures are set, or the things that you like, I want to be a better dad than my dad was, or I want to be as good of a dad as mine was. I want to be as good as a man as my father was, or man, I can never be as good as my father was. And to get to what I'm trying to say is, I had to have that moment, and I had to process that moment before we even got on here. And right before what I had to say afterwards, my thought was, am I really even walking in my own shoes?
Mhm.
Like, and what should the bar be for, if you know what regret feels like?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what the sadness and depression and all that? You really know what that feels like.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? And when you holding on to that so tight to your chest and you're living your life and you're getting older, and the truth is, while you're getting older, at some point your mortality cuts in, because even God says that at some point your mortal body is going to go somewhere. The corruptible puts on the incorruptible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I get you, man. I get you. You know,
So it's
and
like, go ahead.
no, it's you know, you strike a very good question of, am I walking in my own shoes? You know, and so when
I know
you
I'm
know,
on to something. Go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. You know, you know, I can take something and
Do that. Do that. Do your thing.
so when you talk about, am I walking in my own shoes? Well, it's basically what you're talking about. What you're saying is simply this: am I meeting my own expectations? The goals that I have set, have I met those? I'm talking about walking in my own shoes. I'm talking about,
Did I set them, or were they preset?
well, then that requires context. You know what I'm saying? Because
That's my question.
because you
Are
have
they
the culture.
mine
You have the
versus-
culture, right? You got the culture that has set what the shoes should be. As a man, as a woman, a man got to behave X, Y, and Z. A woman got to behave X, Y, and Z. And if you don't, then you don't fit that mold. You don't fit that context. Whose shoes are you walking in, right? Am I walking in my own shoes, or am I walking in the shoes that were?
Do you know who you really are?
Do you mean? Well, that's a whole other question right there. So boom, you got that. You got the culture expectation. Then you have self expectation. Like, I know I should be better. I
Yeah.
know I should be a different place. I know I shouldn't be, dealing with this type of drama. The same knucklehead I was dealing with last year.
Yeah.
I found myself dealing with a different knucklehead with the same type of personality, or
I'm telling you, man.
or that female that I should have dropped years ago. Why am I still dealing with somebody like this? So we put this pressure upon ourselves.
And sometimes the pressure you put on yourself is because you're trying to measure up to somebody who is not you.
You are fitting your shoes and somebody else's feet. And you're wondering why it can't fit.
And I'm learning this, getting older, you know what I'm saying, as many of us are. It's like, how do I want to spend the rest of my time? What if it's some woman that I want to say hello to that I'm afraid of because I'm judging this woman? Can she be, let's say there's a preacher who was influential in my life, a pastor and his relationships. All of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? Instead of trying to get that love at first sight, I'm measuring this woman up to somebody else's mold, somebody else's shoes, somebody else's life. Instead of being happy for them and joyful for them and grateful for them, I'm measuring other people up to what I don't even know if I can have in the first place. Say my mom and my dad stay married for all my life, like they are, but I haven't been able to stay married. It's been the hardest thing to do, brother. We can pray for the sick. We can cast out the devils. We can do signs, wonders, and miracles. And I don't believe many people who say that they do. You know what I'm saying? This is just a late night honest moment. I wouldn't say this in any other platform. But it's random. But we being real, it's like I'll meet a friend. And maybe my judgment on how I'm judging them as a friend is based off of how another friend backstabbed me. What if it ain't? I'm judging them on how a brother was or somebody good. What if it's somebody who stabbed me in the back? And I'm over there holding you to this test. And then whether you succeed or fail is based off of something that ain't even really me. Or I seen your parents or you hear some story about what somebody went through. You watch it on social media. And then all of a sudden, the person in your reality, the people in your reality, you're treating them as if they aren't accessible. Because the things that you're thinking when you're up late at night aren't the things that you're willing to say in front of everybody at any point. And if you're the light, what's the point of being up late and being, you know what I'm saying, shocked at being up? If I'm the light all day, if you the light all day. But my thing is, man, I don't want to. I feel like in Christ and God, you know what I'm saying, the Lord, He's the measure of if that's got to be it. Somebody be like, man, you good enough to be to work in the church. It's what He's talking about, what He's telling me and what He's leading me towards that is standing out right now. And I've listened to somebody who was like, come volunteer at the church. And I ended up having my arms painted and putting on gloves and a mask that looked like Jar Jar Binks trying to tell the children Jesus stories through Star Wars. And I'm not saying that that's good or bad. That's irrelevant tonight.
Right.
That ain't what I'm talking about.
Right.
What I'm talking about is you can be easily sidetracked from what God wants you to authentically be.
So
and I feel like, go ahead.
So good question for you then, my brother.
Mm-hmm.
Not even a good question, but just really a.
Throw it at me. We talking. We vibing.
So it's like if if we're looking at God, right, and we say we believe in God, we serve God who knows no time. Time is not that, like, nothing, there's nothing for him to be, like, he's the one who dictates what time is. Season for everything, so forth and so on.
That's
So if we're to be like Christ, if we're to be like God, and as he is, so are we in this world type of situation, then how should we be looking at time?
I think that we should make the most of it. I think that we should tell the truth.
So then,
how about that? No,
so then, if we are to make the most of time, then how does that change our view, our perspective from just 2 minutes ago to now?
I think that's there's a lot of, there's different answers that fit in what you just asked, because it was a huge question. I think that one of those answers is to stop trying to be everybody else. Because, man, it's a lot of people who, they only feel guilt and shame when they get in front of certain people. It's like there are certain people who are triggers. You know, they get triggered by familiar conversations and stuff like that. But there are people. It's not just words and conversation. People be triggering other people. And sometimes, man, there are people who move to another city, another state, live a whole different life. Their conscience be so clear. Everybody that they meet is meeting that authentic individual. But because of layers of broken role models and shoes that you couldn't fit, expectations that you couldn't meet, and things that you wanted to be but couldn't be or measure up to that you couldn't, the safe place in that, when you move away, that person who is living a different life, they still got God. God don't treat them different when they move away and try to reinvent themselves and do stuff. People do it all the time. I done moved all over the world. I was born in Germany, went to Killeen, Texas, back to Germany, came to Indianapolis, joined the military from here, went to El Paso, Texas. We've been all over the place, man. But at the end of the day, it's like, whose footprint have I been leaving behind? Whose story been breaking hearts? Did I break their heart, or was it the person I was trying to be like that I could never measure up to in the first place? And my loss in trying to be like this, a better man, a man of integrity, a do this, a do that, a soldier, a real one, a street, you know what I'm saying? All this stuff. A preacher, pray to God, cry out for deliverance for anybody. Go at the barbecue and get accepted in every neighborhood that you wouldn't imagine. People got friends that know me, and they don't even know that they know me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, regardless of where I go, whose footprint am I leaving behind? When I broke somebody's trust, or I did all these things that are important to enjoying the process and growing through the process, my lessons are being learned off of a false narrative. It's like at some point you can have a whole lot of, math problems or English problems that are hypotheticals, but these hypotheticals are supposed to ultimately prepare you to handle this, be you, and handle this, critically think this way or whatever in some circumstance going forward.
I mean, I think
But we get forward and we trying to be the
you know,
teacher.
I think when if you like look at it from an honest perspective,
Okay, let's go honest.
then it's not like you're in somebody else's shoes.
Okay.
You are navigating life, trying to figure out, was I ready for something? Was like you hear the stories of people who got married too young and haven't sold their oats.
I did, but I grew up with my parents married, and I thought that's what you were supposed to do.
But listen,
I didn't know people with other cultures was out here waiting till they was older and responsible.
So here's the thing.
Church kid McGee.
So here's the thing. We make decisions, good or bad,
yeah,
that have shaped what our future is today.
Mm-hmm.
For a lot of us, we are in the position that we are today because of decisions that we have made. Does that change that it was you in those shoes?
No.
So if it doesn't change that, then it's not the shoes that we're looking at, but rather it's the formation. I'm trying to figure out a good word for shoes and feet.
Oh man,
but
I got this contrasting thought that I'm about to fight through with.
Hey,
you come on back at me.
We here for it.
I can't accept that when I know that David put on armor and there was something about his authentic self that told Saul, I can't. Do you know how much pressure that is? Imagine if you didn't like, I don't know, what type of animal? You don't like cats.
Oh, I hate cats.
So imagine.
Spawns of Satan.
Imagine. Okay. Your job comes to you, right? Your supervisor, your manager, your team leads. Everybody's so happy. I'm talking about they got the proudest look on their face, like they holding something back. They just like, you know what I'm saying? And they tell you, listen, you've been chosen for the promotion. I know what you've gone through. We know your sacrifices. You know what I'm saying? The fact that you even here, you stand out.
Right.
Cream of the crop. You know what I'm saying? Top of the, man, we like you. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, we're not only going to give you a promotion, but we're going to give you, you know what I'm saying, a parking spot. Outside, you know what I'm saying? We got 4 slots. The third slot's empty. You can get that. You know what I'm saying? And we got an office. It's the last one, we've been storing stuff in there, but we're going to clear that out for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to be up in there, you know what I'm saying? And it's going to be great. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing sky's the limits. However, Johnson's mother knitted this black cat sweater. His grandma, she's in she's in a facility or whatever, but she knits for the whole family. She made this black cat sweater and it's got pictures of cats knitted all over it. And it's the vest that you have to wear for this promotion. You know what I'm saying? We're going to call you Cat Daddy. All right. That's going to be your new nickname around the office. All right. Cat Daddy. All right. But that's, but all the perks is coming. What would you say?
Man.
I wear it every day, though. And it's going to be pictures of cats.
On my chest every single day.
In the office.
Yeah, I can't wear that. Right? Can't.
Just one picture. You can't. But it's coming with a promotion, an office, parking spot. You know what I'm saying? We want you to wear the cat. And the purpose of the cat is for charity, really.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? It's for charity.
So
you ain't let me finish.
It's for a good cause. Okay, for a good cause. Okay.
It's for charity.
Yeah.
At the You know what I'm saying? What is it called? The Humane Society for
Mhm.
Cats.
Mhm.
And
So-
we're gonna
so
need you to go
for-
down there.
So
take
for the
some
greater
pictures.
good, I would wear it for the greater good.
You would do it, no matter what.
It was just one day
Just
or every
one
day. Oh, yeah. You know,
Just one day.
I would make that sacrifice for that promotion.
And that's my point, brother. Me and you are not like King David. He would not put the armor on.
But
He went out there with a slingshot. You know how crazy that is?
But we are like King David
In what way?
in the way of this. The same guy who didn't put the armor on decided that it was cool to murder somebody and take his wife.
Correct. Same guy.
Same guy.
Same guy.
Different circumstances, different situation, but he still walked in those. He still chose.
He did the point is not to erase the absence of ownership. You know what I'm saying? That's not the point of what's being said, is that you are not guilty of the actions and role that you have played in your life. But in a lifetime, in a world of role models, and everyone that you know is either gone. A lot of people have passed in these, years, but either they're gone, they will be gone around the same time you pass on, or they're gonna be gone later. But everybody that you know in your lifetime is gonna be gone. Instead of living the rest of your life regretting the decisions that you made when you couldn't be the model of you couldn't fit the role of the model. I just feel like with the rest of my life, man, if I do have a model that guarantees, like if there's nothing we can do to get out of ourselves. You hate cats, but you willing to do that for a price. David didn't do the suit, the armor, even though it didn't fit, but the price was, you're gonna get to marry my daughter, you're gonna be the top dog, you know what I'm saying? There was a lot of promises that came to David. But like you said, it's the same man who went on and made bad choices. Choices are gonna be made. At the end of the day, I could say the same thing with David and choosing the woman and sleeping around. What was David's role model, if there was any? I would say God even said to David, he was like, when David did that whole situation, he was like, I gave you the wives of who? The concubines of who? The king before him. He said, I gave you land, I gave you all of Israel, Jerusalem, all this stuff. And if there was anything else that you wanted, I would have gave you that too. So it's not even about the things or the whatever we do. At the end of the day, it's the fact that David is out here making bad choices because he think he got to be the man that's got to have everybody. Can you imagine? All right, let me just ask you realistically, because it's easy to put this stuff off in imaginary land or take it for its spiritual, metaphorical value. Let me ask you in real life. Say your dad, say your pop had, ever since you was born, say your pops had 10 wives. And every 5 years of your life, 5, 10, 15, 20, he started with 10. He get another one. So by the time you hit 20, he got a lot of wives, right? Okay. And every one of his wives and every one of their children and all your half brothers and everybody, and I'm talking about there ain't a person around you that is like, hey, we love the way you lead us. You're next. You're taking over. You're going to be king next. You're going to be head of the household next. You're going to be head of the family next. you don't think it'll be any pressure when you finally take over to live up to the lifestyle that your father? I mean, none at all.
No, I mean, it's like I remember a good example is this, like when I got ordained as pastor.
You're telling a real story. I was hypothetical, but go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, because
Relevance.
because you said
Random.
you said you wanted to bring it real. You know what I'm saying?
Come on,
So,
man.
so we're gonna bring it real. So God ordained is now, my father was a pastor for I think like 10 or 12 years.
Okay.
So I got ordained, whatever the case was. I chose him to be the one to put the cross over my neck, the whole little ritual stuff that they got going on Kojak level.
Okay. Ceremonials.
Right. So when he did that, and he could tell he was super proud, happy. And I said, Pops, I said, I'm not gonna let you down. That was my thing, because it's like he was a pastor. Now I'm a pastor or associate pastor. And so it's like now there's like this added pressure of living up to an expectation. So you don't fail, you don't mess up, you don't
and the chase and the journey leading to that, he had an influence, right? Forget about the 1,000 million women. Chase, the anointing, being this pastor. That you knew leading up through the ministry that you was about to hit this day, and you chose your pops for a reason, right?
Yeah, definitely, because because of
moment. It was a good
but here's the thing though. When and I told him, I said, man, I'll make you proud, and he was like, but then he said this: you already have.
It's like I wish I could cut to a scene in Doom.
So basically, what that did,
when I edit this,
what that did, along with having a conversation with the other pastors, was this:
yeah,
you don't need to prove yourself to anybody, and the pressure that I put on myself to meet this, I'm going to make you proud.
Yeah,
was an expectation that I put on myself. I put it on myself because I felt like I had to prove. And so we spend our lives and whether it be at the job, whether it be in relationships, whether it be whatever the case is, trying to prove our self-worth, trying to prove that we're worthy of that love, we're worthy of that affection, we're worthy to be in a relationship, we're worthy to be, come hug me, come hug me, like we try to prove. Like I was in a relationship not too long ago where I was trying to prove something to somebody who I didn't need to prove anything to.
Based on what?
Based on, that whole aspect.
Not being able to prove yourself before, or
it was
someone not seen you.
The proof, I'm trying to prove that I'm not cheating, to prove that I'm not, deleting messages, the whole nine.
It sounds exhausting. Sounds exhausting, brother.
It is very exhausting, which is why the Lord said, time to bounce. So it's like,
wow.
Time to run. So
in Jesus' name.
So here's the thing. I spent a lot of energy trying to prove something that I didn't need to prove.
You had to prove it in the first.
But I put the pressure on myself to do it. And what did it do? It exhausts you. It wears you out.
Sometimes your own regrets can become a role model everything that we've been just saying, man, sometimes your own regrets can become a role model. And you're just not trying to be like that. You know, it's people who choose not to do bad things because who was supposed to be a role model in their life did bad things. They don't want to do that. All role models aren't great. People have learned that following basketball players. But the point being is that playing these roles and trying to live up these roles, your regret can become an idol. That's what I'm trying to say as far as like a role model. Whether it's regret, it takes on form. You could see it in the mirror. You start thinking it's you if you let the lines blur. You look in the mirror and try to see, like, am I different than who I used to be? Beyond just the gray hairs or the growth and all that stuff, like a role model can be anything. Something becomes an idol in your life if you're trying to live up to it, and it's not just you living. And I feel like for a long time, I've been trying to live up to stuff. Like, this is the first year I talked to my dad and told him, hey, man, listen, from this point on, I am happy for you. How you worked your way, retired, you got your woman, the house. From here on out, I don't covet what you have taught me to covet about you anymore. Being covetous leads to being bound to models, to role models, to things that we're latching hold to or trying to live up to that are the bar. I want to be like this, or I don't want to be like this. And they're deep-seated. And it's like, at what point, you know, saying you got to pay $1,000 to go to a doctor and talk about it? It's like, nah, I'm going to have this revelation in front of everybody.
But, you know,
or as I'm having it, that I feel like if we stop trying to be like our fathers, if we stop trying to be like our mother, if we stop trying to be like the older brother, sister, the sergeant, the boss, the supervisor, the friend, whoever that you're looking up to deep down inside, or that your biggest regrets are that you didn't live up to that measurement. It's like, if God's going to be it in your life, then that should be the only bar. And most of us have peace at that bar late at night. You know how many Christians is out here doing crazy stuff in the middle of the night?
Now here's the thing, though, man.
Yeah, I'm saying.
I'm
battling.
There's a like, let's go a little deeper, right?
Okay.
Let's dig a little deeper.
Go there.
Dig a little deeper. So here.
Shovel it.
What you'll find is that you got people that the whole aspect of regret, or the whole aspect of, you know, living up to an expectation or a standard, whatever the case is, and what you'll find is that these people, for the most part, have one thing in common, which is either they have failed or fear failing. So they fall into this, you know, perception type of mindset of what will they think about me if this happens. Like when my marriage failed.
Yeah.
That was I mean, bro, you was there. Yeah. I was telling you, like, man, you know, it's all good. You know what I mean? You know, whatever the case is. But internally, I was like, man, what are they thinking about me? I know they're talking crazy. I know they saying something, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, now it's this pressure because my marriage failed. And so, and not just my marriage, but then I've already have failure issues because you know, I got held back when I was in elementary school.
Did you feel different before the marriage failed about people who had failed marriages than after you had your marriage failed?
Me personally, no.
Nah, you weren't tripping.
No.
And I know that's true, but we know a lot of people do.
Yeah. For me, it was, you know, I was always seen and deemed like to be the slow one of the family. You know, I was also, you know, because I procrastinated in school.
Get right.
Right. I couldn't get right. There's a whole lot of stuff that brought me up even to this point of like, adulthood where it's like, I don't want to fail so bad. I want to show people that I'm not that type of person. I want to prove to people, you know. So that's just my story. But then you got countless of other stories of people who were addicted to alcohol, addicted to drugs, addicted to pain pills, addicted to whatever the case is.
Addicted to rage, anger, vengeance.
Yes.
Addicted to.
And they've had. In those situations, they had public failures and then they've had private failures. So, but either way, it all leads up to the I don't want to fail so bad that I end up failing badly because we put that pressure.
And what if you pass away, right? So whenever the curtains close for all of us. And what if you passed away and in your mind and your heart, you were like, man, I failed them. Would that be the same as when you passed and you was like, man, I failed myself? Because one means that you was trying to live up to everybody who's probably at your deathbed and gonna be at your funeral and loved you anyways. And they gonna be there with you regardless. That unconditional love and relationships that just last the test of time. It show us what's in the prayer closet. It show us that measure, that bar of Jesus, of God, of love, of the Father. Mm-hmm. But when you're like, man, do you want to live trying to live up to everybody else's expectations, or do you want to know that when you died, you either failed or met your own expectations? Because you're going to have to go see God by yourself. No story, nobody to point to, nobody to reference, because he's been here the whole time. And it's like, I feel like if one day, Lord willing, that day is long off, and for all of us. But one day when I do meet him, I want to know that, like, that was me. That was 100% me. That wasn't just me trying to be somebody else. And then I was like, I couldn't live up to being a good man, so let me go over here and be me and chase women and stuff. Or,
I mean,
I couldn't be a great, or I couldn't be a street dude or something. I don't know. And I was a preacher at the heart. I'm corny. But whatever it is, it's like the authentic you is what you should be at peace with when you go to God. Because I feel like once you get there, everybody you meet along the way is going to experience who you really are. You start saying things to people who are mean to you. That's honest. You'll start. Go ahead. What did it say?
Melissa says that she's a recovering addict of 21 years.
Uh-huh.
Beautiful story. That her ex was a narcissist, abusive, and didn't want no one to know that we weren't a happy couple. I was really ashamed. Been there. Woo! Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you for sharing. You know what I'm saying?
But so
and
now,
it's like the letdowns probably in a relationship like that is a person walking away feeling like they can't live up to this person's expectations. There's nothing I can do right. But even after you leave an abusive relationship, you begin to realize Like, they was crazy anyways for expecting me to do that stuff. I was tripping for thinking that if I did those things, it was gonna make that situation better.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that person, that sigh of relief living, that person who gets past that and feels that, like, that person knows what I'm talking about. That person is done trying to fit a mold or a role. That person is, everybody they're meeting after that point is meeting who they are. And they may still have some other situation of trying to be like my mother, trying to be like my dad or my brother, whatever. But I feel like the more, these are the layers that preachers be talking about. The more of these layers we take off, the more authentic we are. And it's like, I want to live my life, my Christian life, like that. He says she tried to date, but she afraid to meet people. Who isn't? Melissa?
Especially these days.
That's random.
Crazy,
And it's late
crazy
nights.
people.
And we firm. Who isn't? People are crazy. You know what I'm scared of when it comes to dating, man?
What are you scared
I'm
of?
afraid of marrying someone's unwillingness to rest in peace to their sorrow. A person who truly is hopeless in believing that they can be happy. A person, that's a scary person. A person who is hopeless that things can be okay. And sometimes you don't know that until you try to discuss and talk to different people. And you know what I'm saying? You a believer, but you ain't walking up to nobody in your church clothes. You trying to meet somebody and have an authentic vibe, the same person that you be in your house late at night talking to God about. Lord, if they ain't right for me, get them out of my life. I don't want to go through this no more. But how can you reapproach something new if you're bound by what you've known? If you're hopeless and you cannot, you've tried as all as you can, you done ran out of complete hope that something can work out, something can be good, dating or otherwise, just waking up every day and having a successful day, you know what I'm saying?
Right. I think,
It's go ahead.
I was gonna say, man, I think what is something that I'm always gonna go back to is knowing how, like, do you love you, right? The whole aspect of self-love. I
don't love me trying to act like my daddy. I don't love me trying to act like my homie. I don't love me trying to act like Ice Cube and all the thugs I done listened to, Bone Thugs and Harmony, all this back in the day.
Right.
I don't love me like that, but me.
Do you love you? Do you even know what loving you looks like? Like, because here's the thing, like, a lot of us are afraid to date or fall into a relationship because we've been hurt trying to love other people. And we neglect ourselves in the process. But what happens when you begin to understand the process of loving you to the point that now you know how it is that I need to be treated? I love me so much that you will not talk to me in that tone. I love me so much that you will not treat me like the last 5 dudes.
Like that's just defensive love.
No, it's self-love is.
It's like what you're giving. You like, you will not, but you ain't saying I.
Self-love is understanding what I'm worth.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's saying that I'm that loving me means that I can see the red flags a whole lot clearer. They're not red flags anymore. But like,
I ain't gotta wait on.
Right. But back in the day,
4 months, 6 months.
Look, back in the day, there were red blankets. Now it was cozy.
Yeah.
But
red flag.
Red flag.
Cuddle up under this.
Right. It makes me
Cheat with it.
so warm and stuff. I'm so warm. So, but that's what self-love does. Loving you is not self-love is not selfish, regardless of what it looks like. Self-love is not selfish, and so we're taught to believe by the
Say it
narcissist
again.
or whoever it is. Like if you loving you, they make you feel like it's wrong. My needs. We're like, what about me? What about my needs? What about this? What about that? And it's like, well, what about me? Well, that's being selfish. You're being selfish. But if I love me,
I'll never be in a relationship where I can't say, what about me?
right?
Never again.
So if I love me,
Yeah.
if I love me, then I know that, man, this is how I should be treated. This is how I should be talked to. Like, this is how a relationship should be. Like, if I'm not going to talk to myself like this, and then that's the other problem. We do talk to ourselves like they talk to us because that's what we used to. And then we end up talking back to them the way that they talk back to us because that's what we're used to.
A lot of people get that better stuff. Like, you already know. And even though a person means well when they say that, they don't know that I might be like, my already know is, yeah, I come from a long line of men who work. I should be working instead of chasing my dreams and trying to, I don't know what people doing out there. I'm gonna make it.
The biggest thing is this, man, is we can be involved in a lifestyle so long that it feels normal.
Not yourself anymore. No,
right. It feels normal.
Yeah.
Like these crazy toxic relationships, environments feels normal.
Man, you will be trying to do somebody who is a bad person so right, thinking that they will get right. They'll see it. Man.
And so here's the thing. The hardest thing for us to do is to be willing to change our mindset, willing to change our environment, willing to change the way that we behave. Because you know what? So-and-so may have most to blame, but to say that I have no blame makes you a narcissist.
Right.
Because and we talked about this before in one of our shows.
But I think that was showing on the way.
That what?
I think that the narcissist is erased when you've made adjustments over time. You've shown. A narcissist ain't gonna change their ways, baby. I'm perfect, just the way I am. You can't see it. Nobody can see it. I'm perfect. But if your life has been trying to make adjustments and trying to change for a better outcome, then can't nobody come at the end of that and say you're a narcissist because you still convinced your way works. You never got a chance to try it in the first place.
Right. No, and Melissa brings up a very good point. She said that the hardest pill to swallow is in the meantime. In the meantime, in between time. What does that look like? The meantime, the self-evaluation, the self-checkups, trying to figure out, how, like for me, like an example is, why am I finding myself attracted to the same type of person? Like what is it about this certain type of personality, a certain type of whatever that I'm like, why do I keep falling for the same type? So it's like, in the meantime, I have to swallow my ideology of what a woman, of what I'm attracted to.
Do you know that before that you're falling for somebody that you like, that you're similar or whatever? Or do you find it afterwards when you're going through things, you're like, you the same?
You will not ever find out if you don't ever love yourself properly. You will fall for the same type. It's like how many people do you know that this female's in an abusive relationship?
Yeah.
Who beat on her? She finally escapes. I'm free. I'm never going to go back to the same time. 6 months later, she's in another relationship, getting beat. That's it. No more. I know what to do now. A year later, she's in another relationship and so now she's stuck in this cycle of why do I keep falling for the same type of man?
Probably thinking it's me. I need to do this. I need to recognize this. I need to get a gun. I need to get a weapon. I need to, as opposed to stop messing with this type of person. Period. It's not how you defend yourself with them. It's not how you handle yourself with them.
And
love yourself enough to cut this type of person off. This type of person is too much.
And Melissa said it best. How do I change my mindset? That's where that's where it starts. Like my mindset is, in the past, this is what I'm used to. I'm used to this type of person. I'm matter of fact, bro, she's good, she's straight, she is not like the rest, bro.
Mm-hmm.
She's great, she's amazing, she's lovely, she's wonderful. Oh man, I'm in love. And then 3 months later, bro, you were right. You're right. But I can't get away from it. Maybe I could change her. Maybe if I just love her a little better. Maybe if I change my behavior, and it goes vice versa. Same thing with the female. Maybe if I love him a little bit. Maybe if I change my behavior, if I do what he asked, if I do what she asked,
maybe
then things will get better. But it never does. And then so now all of a sudden we're stuck in a relationship that we have a hard time breaking from because our mindset hasn't changed. We're infatuated. We're in love. We're, oh my God, whatever the situation is.
Yeah.
So, bro, it's tough, but
man.
But without self-love, without loving yourself first, we will always find ourselves back in a similar situation.
I love the cycle that we just went on. You know what I'm saying? The cycle brought us back to love. I started with calculate the days, appreciate the time that you have, consider how little time you have and how much time you could waste. You could waste a lifetime.
Struggle is real. Yeah.
Struggle is real. You could waste a lifetime trying to measure up to something. They had that old people used to say, man, God broke, dudes used to say to chicks, and maybe vice versa these days or whatever, they'd be like, man, God broke the mold when he sent you. God broke the mold when he made you. Sheesh. Ain't nothing like you out here. And the expression is trying to convey that you are one of a kind. You are unique. You are first of whatever. You know what I'm saying? You are. And in love, and the loving yourself, the Bible says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. And most of our regrets and experiences go from dealing with our neighbors, others, male, female, otherwise, different scenarios, could be relationships. And it's like, that's a broken mold too, because you're not even, how can, if you love your neighbor as you love yourself, would you hit your neighbor? But if every time you ran up on your homegirl, you was just like, you know what, this all right. Or every time you see your best friend, you was just like, ugh. Would you suggest that people that person whoever that is, that you just can't quit hitting, would you suggest them to be around you? Or would you be like, yo, y'all already know, when I get there, they better clear out? Whether it's a loved one or a stranger, it could be a cousin, family member, somebody you used to love that you don't love no more, a lover that you didn't, you know what I'm saying, then kicked out. You're done with that. But if you're wise enough to know somebody else hitting on you, abusing you, is not good love, then loving your neighbor as you love yourself is getting, just like you would get away from them, get away from a lot of the things that you've been trying to live up to. It's like a purge. It's like layers coming off. Maybe I was trying to be how my family member was, how my boss was, or somebody who was influential in my life. Maybe I was trying to be like them. I'm fully guilty or otherwise for all my actions and my choices. I did that. But what if God's mercy and grace and love and his patience and time while I've been doing all of this crazy stuff, and why it stayed there is because it never mattered to him in the first place. At the end of the day, he knew that I was in a role that he did not model. He didn't make the mold. He didn't make the model. He gave me the influences, but I wasn't supposed to live up to them. I wasn't supposed to fill their shoes. Neither was you. I ain't supposed to be looking for a woman that's like my mama. My mama be getting on my nerves sometimes. I love her to death, but that love alone, you know, so I'll try to act like my pops, and you know, I don't eat peanuts all day. You know what I'm saying? But whatever those things are, even if it's the man that I used to try to be, that I've been struggling to be again back in the good old days, or the woman, you know what I'm saying, before all the turmoil and crap happened. It's like you can live with all of that forever, or you can start letting that stuff go. You know what I'm saying? You can have a little bit more peace with yourself about what you do. Because, like I said, the late nights is the exposure of, we all do a lot of things that we'll never tell each other about when it gets late. But we're all still secure in our relationship with not how we're living up to God, but how much he loves us. And that's a bar. And people are not living up to it. They are not as good as God would be in a relationship. They are not as good as Jesus would be on a job. They are not, you know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be. But it's a bar that you don't have to meet. It's a bar that no matter how much you fail, no matter how much you go through, who you couldn't be, what you couldn't do, what you lost, no matter what, God is there. And I feel like for the rest of my life, I'd rather live like that. Like, as long as I got God, and I ain't worried about the rest, because he accepts me that wasn't me at this point. At this point, my character was good. And at this point, I was a terrible person. At this point, what'd she say? So I became a people pleaser. It took me years to finally speak up for myself.
That she grew up bullied and all her life.
I read that too.
Want to make feel that she was made to feel growing up. So she became a people pleaser. It took her many years to finally speak up.
Speak up.
And that's a powerful story. You know,
you've been talking the whole time, but it took years to finally speak up. That's deep. Sorry.
That's a revelation. That's a revelation right there. But yeah, man, you know, in my closing, man, I think, in my closing,
night, yeah. Figure out another word for that.
I got a big day. I got a big day tomorrow, early in the morning.
Me too. We gotta go.
But for me, man, like when it comes to the expectation that I set for myself.
Yeah.
The failures that has happened, and then the guilt that comes with it, like see, the feeling of like Britney Spears, whoops, I did it again. We get to a place where it does mess with the mindset. It messes with the psyche, and then we carry that baggage into relationships, whether it's romantic, work, otherwise. And if we're not careful, we can also place that type of burden upon our kids, upon our family, and things of that nature.
Yeah.
We, as individuals, as collective group, again, I go back to how you love yourself and to go the religious route, to go the Christianity route, to go the F.I.R.M route.
Yeah.
What happens when you allow God to love you first, which the Bible says. We love God because he first loved us. So if I can learn how to let God love on me without the pressure of trying to perform, then I'm able to, as you said earlier in the very beginning of this late night episode, rest. Enter into the rest. If God is love, and if I come to a place where I can let him love on me, then I can learn how to love the way that God does. I can learn how to love myself, then love my neighbor, then whatever the case is, and that's a whole other preaching for a whole other time, whatever the case is. but so we get to a place where, what? If God isn't disappointed in me, then why am I putting the burden on myself as if God is disappointed in me? Because we have this thing about love relationships where if I do something wrong in a relationship, then my partner is going to be upset. And now I have to prove that I'm sorry. I have to prove that I apologize. I have to prove to them that I won't do it again. And then hopefully they'll forgive me and let it go. So we take those experiences and we project it on God. Like, this is how God treats me because my partner treats me this way. And that's not how God works. It's not how God works. So I'm going to drop it right there because...
Okay. Yeah, bro. That's a good one.
Yeah,
we said a lot, man.
I'm super excited, man, because tomorrow, I'll roll out to North Carolina. My son's graduation.
What time you gotta get out there? What time are you rolling out?
I should have been in bed like an hour ago.
I thought you would have.
I was, I was, you know what I'm saying? But then, you wake up and then boom, it's like a F.I.R.M episode begins in 3 minutes. And I'm like, huh? Like, what did you
think I meant when I said I was going live?
Yeah.
Nah, man. I'm glad that you
about it. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, we pray and hope that you get a little rest, get some rest on the plane, get some rest along the way, like you talked about, enter into your rest. And we pray that you have a safe flight. You know what I'm saying? Get there and back safely. He said, my closing, sowing seeds. I think really matters in this life is if we sow good seeds. Thanks for allowing me to listen. You're welcome. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you being here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We try. You listen. He said it. My boy Yuli. He said we going deep. And I'll say this. I believe that when we love, when we truly understand the love of God, like when we really, really get it, however long it takes to be fully persuaded, convinced, I believe that what it looks like is when you can stand in the presence of your consequences. I know I love my kids no matter what I went through with their mother, no matter what time we gained or lost. I know that when I see my children and I embrace them, that they are a consequence of all my actions. I'm in the presence of my consequences, and there's no shame. There's no pain. There's no nothing. It's just love. That's love. God is willing to stand in the presence of his actions, the consequences of his actions. And I think that when we understand a love like God's, is that he's so willing to stand behind, in the presence of his consequences, that there are people who think that they're letting God down, that will find out in that great day that he never left them nor forsake them, just like his son said. And I think that if that's the case, no matter what you're doing out here, what you're going through, and some of us are going through some not so great stuff, you might as well be yourself. Don't be what everybody said your potential was. Prove your real potential. Be you. God is securing that. God loves that. Before, what does the Bible say? While we were yet sinners, he chose us. He died for us. So if he did it before you could ever do something right or wrong, and he still called you in the midst of the life we're living, don't spend the rest of your time bogged down. Don't spend this short lifespan full of information, but then how do we learn so much in a year's time? But most people we run into are like, man, this year is going by fast. Either some people think they got a lot of time, or we just learn super quick. I think we just learn super quick. But time is fleeting.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what we did, what it has been. We did that. When you learn to love yourself and accept yourself, you can walk into the lives of people that you've hurt. You can walk in front of people who have hurt you. You can walk into people who said all kind of bad stuff about you, and be the hope and the help and the breath of fresh air that they was looking for. But love, to me, I'll say that and I'll roll out. Love is standing in the presence of your consequences and being secure. This is who I am. You did, you what. But this is who I am. And I'm being here for you, and I want to be here for you, and I want to talk to you, and I want to know how you're doing, and all that good stuff. You know, a good example of being in the presence of your consequences and not having a concern on your mind is going to sleep. It's rest, brother. When you go to sleep, you could have done years worth of stuff or a whole day's worth of stuff, but while you're knocked out, you are at complete peace, presence of the consequences and choices that you've made. So we're going to let y'all go. This is random. We appreciate y'all being here tonight. You know what I'm saying? You listen, get some rest, travel safe. Don't miss your flight. Appreciate you jumping on here, man.
No, I'm driving, bro. 10 hours. 10 hours.
Driving 10 hours. He's on the road. After this. All right. Better believe I'll be making those phone calls all along the way to make sure my boy makes it safely. He does not.
yes, please do. Please do. Lord Jesus.
Sorry I kept you up. God will take you on in. Melissa, anybody else? I know there's been some other people who've been jumping on live, jumping in, jumping out. It doesn't matter. We appreciate the fact that you shared your comments with us, conversated this late night. Like I told you, listen, man, if you want to do one in the daytime, it'll be random daytime's F.I.R.M. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, don't forget. Don't forget, Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time,
Saturday.
8 Central.
Mm-hmm.
We live, we are in color. 9 p.m.
Live. Saturday nights live. 9
Eastern,
p.m.
8 Central. We are here
Woo-hoo.
live and in color.
Live. Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Be released from that anger, resentment, and bitterness. You know, that's evident.
Our context on it, and it kind of changed the definition.
Convinced himself that he's sufficient for himself.
I love discipleship. Why I love mentoring.
The us and the us and them is ever growing.
Facebook posts, Instagram posts, just another way of connecting with people.
Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another great conversation on F.I.R.M podcast.